Good morning and welcome to Rich Thoughts for Breakfast.
I'm Harold Herring, and that's my fine wife Bev on this sensational Saturday. On today's call, we're going to talk about climbing financial plateaus. Psalm 25:20, Classic Amplified Bible. Oh, keep me, Lord, and deliver me. Let me not be ashamed or disappointed, for my trust and my refuge are in you. That's a good one to personalize. Oh, keep Michael, Lord, and deliver him. Let him not be ashamed or disappointed, for his trust and his refuge is in you. Several years ago, I read an excellent book entitled The Spiritual Millionaire by Keith Cameron Smith. As I read the book, I felt stirred to write 5 plateaus from wealth from my perspective, based on my understanding of the Word. This is the first time that I've taught this on Rich Thoughts for Breakfast. So there has to be a reason, or perhaps a person destined to hear this teaching. We want to encourage you to get a sheet of paper, turn it horizontally, start at the bottom of the left side of the paper, and draw 5 plateaus, each one being higher until the 5th plateau is at the top of the paper. Now we want you to be following under each plateau, starting on the bottom left and finishing on the upper right corner of the paper. The first plateau on the bottom left is poor, which we want to write about because sometimes being poor is existence, just having an existence. So here are some basic facts about being poor.
You know, when you're poor, you're living day to day, not even paycheck to paycheck, day to day. If you don't get paid today, you don't eat. Most probably that would be somebody like a day laborer or somebody who goes out and, works in the fields or whatever. And they might make, who's to know, $10,000, $15,000 a year, possibly. It's a poverty mentality syndrome. You know, and you talk to people glued to the TV, and they can't wait to see what's happens next. It's expensive, let me tell you, to be poor. Something worse than being poor, though, is what we're talking about today, and that's called poor thinking. I can't believe a believer listening to this today would be in poor thinking. You're too much rich thinkers because you listen to this, but people who are poor live in somewhat of a desperation or a give-up thing. They're wishers. I wish I didn't have to live or work here. I wish I had more money. I wish I could win the lottery. I wish I could be on a game show. I wish Jesus would come back before the 1st of the month because I don't have enough money to pay the bills. 1 Peter 5:7, Classic Amplified says, casting the whole of your care, all your anxieties, all your worries, all your concerns, once and for all on him, for he cares for you affectionately and cares about you watchfully. And that's another good one to personalize too, because we all need to be able to roll our cares over on the Lord.
Amen.
A lot of times people in that poverty mentality also, the poor, they've just given up. They just don't care. They just sit around and let things happen. They don't want to make things happen. They want to give them to the Lord. But you can personalize. Casting the whole of Lucy's care, all her anxieties, all her worries, all her concerns, once and for all, on you. That once and for all means leaving it there. On you, Lord, for you care for Lucy affectionately and care for her watchfully.
The next plateau is broke, otherwise known as survival. Living week to week, paycheck to paycheck, earning minimum wage, maybe $16,000 to $22,000 a year, and truthfully so broke you can't pay attention. People who live on this plateau suffer from a victim complex. They live in hopelessness. They're Hollywood's biggest fans. They talk about people. And they're whiners. Oftentimes. They're whiners. It's not my fault. I don't have the right education. I'm the wrong color. I was born on the wrong side of the tracks. My father abused me. My mother accused me. My boss misused me. I can't ever catch a break. They see a $20 payment here and a $75 monthly payment there as doable. 2 Peter 3:9, Classic Amplified Bible. The Lord does not delay, is not tardy or slow about what he promises. That's one you can personalize as well. The Lord does not delay, is not tardy or slow about what he promises. Joy. Lord does not delay and is not tardy about what he promises. Larry and Gina.
The third plateau is middle class, or a comfortable level. Living month to month, maybe, doing anything from maybe $40,000 to $100,000. Some suffer from the fake it till you make it, or they're just, living in stress or paycheck to Prozac. You got to worry about your mortgage and your first car and your second car and the credit cards you ran up, and the department store payments are at the top of the, bills. And they get to a place in their lives when they get to this point where they've come from poor to, from day to day to week to now month to month. They want some instant gratification because they were previously in a survival mode. The point of it being is that they they become, in a lot of times, wasters and wanters. I deserve this. I've had a hard day today. I just want to go and buy supper tonight and take it home. I don't want to feel like fixing it. I just want my kids to have what I didn't have. They're not concerned about when they can pay the bill off. When it, comes due, just that they can make a monthly or a minimum payment. Spending money to make them feel better because they couldn't when they were poor and broke, and spending money to relieve stress or escape their problems, which in the end is only going to make them worse. Psalm 32:8 says, I, the Lord, will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. And we can personalize that one. I, the Lord, will instruct Lana and teach Lana in the way she should go. I will counsel her with my eye upon her. What a promise. I, the Lord, will instruct Pastor Malk and teach him in the way he should go. I will counsel Pastor Malk with my eye upon him.
The fourth plateau is rich, or abundance. Living year to year. Making maybe 100,000 to $500,000. Learning fiscal responsibility and financial literacy and investing. They paid off everything but the mortgage. They live in liberty. They like to talk about ideas. And they're watchers, looking for opportunities. See, the watcher understands that if you do something today that others won't, then tomorrow you can have something others won't. They have a plan, goals in the major areas of their life: spiritual, family, financial, physical, mental, and social. They understand that delay doesn't mean denial. They seek advice of successful people before making a decision. Proverbs 10:22, the Classic Amplified, came to my mind. The blessing of the Lord, it makes truly rich. He has no sorrow with it, neither does toiling increase it.
Hallelujah.
Again, personalize that one. The blessing of the Lord makes Lucy truly rich, and he has no sorrow with it, neither does toiling increase it. The blessing of the Lord makes Will truly rich, and he has no sorrow with it, neither does toiling increase it.
The fifth and the final plateau is wealthy, or significance. There are three kinds of wealth. Personal, that is who you are. Financial is what you have. And spiritual is what you do with what you have because of who you are. Let me say that again. Personal is who you are. Financial is what you have. Spiritual is what you do with what you have because of who you are. That's living decade to decade. And you're able to live in freedom, and you're able to pay off all of your debts. They become winners. They have a winning attitude in what they do. They've made it. They've made decisions based on God's direction. They don't doubt God's given direction when God gives direction. They learn from mistakes they make. And they don't take no as a first answer or a second answer. They just keep looking. They're looking for the positive in every situation. They will be the ones who function in the end time office of the giver. In Psalm 112, verse 3, the Living Bible says, "He himself shall be wealthy, and his good deeds will never be forgotten." That's another great one to personalize. Denise shall be wealthy, and her good deeds will never be forgotten. You know, poor, broke, middle class put control of their lives into the hands of others. The lenders are, ironically, generally the rich and the wealthy. But we can seek to be comfortable because, there are some that seek to be comfortable because they have a scarcity mentality. Scarcity means they seek just enough to be comfortable, and when they get there, they settle into that comfort zone. If you seek to just survive, you will. If you seek to be comfortable, you will. If you seek abundance and significance, you will find it. But
before I make some closing comments, that scripture again, Psalm 112:3.
That's a good one.
In the Living Bible, you really need to personalize that. Ralph and Sonia shall be wealthy, and their good deeds will never be forgotten. Personalize that for you and get it down inside of you. Now, in this level, you change you have a vocabulary change when you're wealthy. You talk about what's possible instead of impossible. Can instead of I can't. I will instead of I should. People who want to be debt-free today do what others don't, so they can have tomorrow what others won't. I believe that when you complain about things, you get more of it. Complain about bills and debts, you get more of them. Complain about people treating you unfairly, and you will continue to be treated unfairly. Complain about how bad your boss is, and he'll get worse. The power of our words can create the experiences and the reality of our lives. Choose to be debt-free instead of saying, I wish I was debt-free. Choice is backed by a belief. Wish is backed by a doubt that you can. Doubt's another word for fear.
That's right.
Have you ever wondered why $1 million homes have libraries and $100,000 homes don't? My library is worth, a lot of money.
That's it.
I've sold nearly 1,000 volumes to different bookstores. If a percentage of your income and time isn't going to your financial education, you'll stay broke, mortgaged, and in debt. Poor, broke, middle class stay at the same income level year after year because their knowledge stays the same. Poor, broke, and middle class probably have never had more than one source of income. It's usually a second job or a spouse working. How do you move from poor to broke to middle class to rich to wealthy? Great answers found in 2 Corinthians 9:8. And God is able to make all grace, every favor, and earthly blessing come to you in abundance, so that you may always and under all circumstances, and whatever the need, be self-sufficient, possessing enough to require no aid or support, and furnished in abundance for every good work. That's another good one to personalize. And God is able to make all grace, every favor and earthly blessing come to Laurel in abundance, so that Laurel may always and under all circumstances, and whatever the need, be self-sufficient, possessing enough to require no aid or support, and furnished in abundance for every good work and charitable donation.
Wow.
So the bottom line on this sensational Saturday, It's time to move on up.
up. That's it.
Move on up. Think about the things we shared today over the weekend. And until tomorrow morning at 8:30 Eastern, God bless you. Happy trails.
And keep thinking rich thoughts from the Word of God.
We love you. We appreciate you. Bye-bye.